Alrighty, folks, it is mid-year, and actually we got a request a couple of weeks ago for me to review my 12 crazy real estate predictions. I will admit that I made this video on January 2nd, and I can only recall 2 of the 12. So I will admit to being a little nervous. Before we get into them, I want to remind you, these were 12 crazy predictions about the year in real estate. January 2nd, these were made. So yes, I'm being a little nervous. I'm hoping I got like 6 to 8 of them, but I have no idea what's coming. So Mike, thank you for looking at those. I will admit to being slightly nervous because making predictions is fun, but we got to own them sometimes. So let's figure out which ones I got right, which ones I got wrong. And we do have 6 months left, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and that is an important factor to bring up, is the fact that some of your predictions might have even sounded a little like, oh, by the summer it'll be this, by the end of the year it'll be this. So we're only halfway through, so keep that in mind. It's about 3 minutes worth of video, so we're going to take it 3 predictions at a time so we can break it up a little bit, and we're going to jump right in.
I would like to share with you my 12 insane housing market calls for 2023. If I get 9 or more of these 12 calls right, I will consider it a win. Let's get into it. First thing I am calling is actually a twofer. I am predicting that days on market are going to go up at least 150%. That means we have to get to 60 days on market. In addition to that, I am calling for distressed sales to triple. Number 2, this one is important. I expect the run rate of transactions. I do believe by the end of the year, it will be an annualized number of 4.3. I now expect the March 15th or the spring selling season to land like a thud. I believe the hopium that is being spread for inventory is not coming. The math will not work it. I believe consumers, when they get nervous, pull back, and they also don't make any big moves.
Okay, so there was a couple of jump cuts in there as I had to try to condense it down to your core points, but your 3 first predictions are days on market up 150% and distressed sales to triple. The run rate of transactions annualized will be 4.3 million, and the spring selling season will land like a thud. What do you think?
Well, so the good news is number 3, you can write nailed it on that one. I think the spring selling season is officially over, typically called on Mother's Day. I think that one is exactly correct. Number 2, sort of going backwards, 4.3. Still feel really good about that number. In fact, I think we did 4.3 exactly last month. I mean, like on the nose. So that's kind of cool. I think we'll be bouncing around that number all year. So I still feel good about that one. And then the first one, days on market, is actually kind of interesting because about 6 weeks ago, it might have been 8 weeks ago, we saw days on market exceed 36 days. Unfortunately, given what's happened since the spring selling season rolled over, it's now 19 or 18 days. So it's kind of gone back the other direction. I still have hope that days on market go up. I think 60 days might be a stretch. But I still think we see 45 days on market by the end of the year. So that one's kind of a push right now. And then distressed inventory, I think that's a mathematical certainty, frankly. We are already seeing distressed inventory up 100%, which is a double. I could easily see it going up another 50% from here, which would give us our triple. So I think distressed inventory is going to be a nailed it. I think 4.3, nailed it on the number. And then spring selling season, that one you can write down as a win. The other 2 we still have 6 months left. So I feel least good about the days on market call of those first 3. So not bad so far.
All right, let's jump back in. Let's take another look.
30-year mortgages. This is call number 1, 2, 3, 4. This is call number 4. I expect the 30-year mortgage in 2023 to average under 6%. And what the heck, I'm calling a low of 5.65. Pretty cool. Office buildings. I expect office buildings to, frankly, suffer the most in the commercial market. I expect some office buildings, some Class A office, probably in San Francisco, frankly, to go back to the bank. LA County. LA County has once again extended the eviction moratorium. They are extended it already to January 31st with talk of extending it to June. LA County, You are about to lose 40% of your mom and pop investors.
Okay, so your next three predictions were the 30-year mortgage will average under 6% with a low of 5.65. Office space is going to suffer the most, and LA County is going to lose 40% of ma and pa investors. How'd you do?
So I think number 4, the mortgage, I think you can call that an L. I don't think there's any mathematical chance that it averages under 6. So I'll take the L on that one. I do think we get under 6, but that won't allow us to average. So that's an L. My low, I don't see that anymore. I think a low is far closer to 5.9. So I will certainly take a complete L and a miss on number 4. Office buildings, again, you can write down a win. We nailed that one, and you can't question that call. I will note that call was made in January, long before any of these other folks were around. So we got 2 right and 1 wrong. All the others kind of pushes at this point. And then LA County is going to be interesting. They are seeing increased sales. We'll see how this one plays out. 40%. I'm probably going to take an L on that one. It was just too large. If I would have said 20%, it would probably have been that. So certainly took an L on 4. Number 4, probably taking an L on 6. And number 5's a clear win. Clearly nailed that one. So two wins, 2 losses, and a bunch of pushes. So
all right, let's watch a few more.
Rents. I'm calling rents in multifamily. Think apartments to go down 5%. That's quite a big number. 5% for the country, while single family homes are 0. iBuyer markets like Phoenix will see a peak to trough fall of roughly 25% by the summer. And then you will see a bounce back to down 10%. Crash Bros. I do expect the Crash Bros to continue to be, well, Crash Bros. As I've tried to share with you in a couple of videos here recently, even if they are right, the timeline for distressed inventory doesn't show up this year.
All right, so I accidentally let another one slide in right there. But first thing, rents in multifamily down 5%, single family homes 0%. iBuyer markets like Phoenix will see peak to trough fall of roughly 20% by summer, and then followed by 10%. I think you meant on the year right there, the average, because it'll come back up after summer. Crash Bros are going to continue to be Crash Bros, but if the timeline for distressed inventory they're claiming won't show up this year.
Yeah. So again, I think the Crash Bro one we're right about again. They're not going to change. Frankly, they make too much money being Crash Bros. It's really funny that Crash Bros are actually buying homes, which I think is a sad state of affairs. So that one's a win. iBuyers certainly have exited markets like Phoenix and others. I don't think any of them, including Phoenix, went down 25%. So I might take an L on that one. I think Phoenix and other markets like Boise and Austin, I think they were down double digits, but 25% was probably is too high. No, probably about it was too high. But I will say that the bounce back that I called is happening. Again, a lot of people were talking about a crash and it would be almost never ending. I did get right that once the iBuyer, what I was trying to call there is the iBuyers leaving would create this cascading of inventory and falling prices. But once it was done, it was done. So we got half that right. And then rents. I do think rents are falling in apartments. Again, you could look at different numbers, 2-3%. Again, 5% might be too large. And I actually think single family homes are up a little bit. So again, making crazy real estate calls means you got to own some. So I think the rent one, I'm probably wrong on as well. I think rents are down 3%, although we do have some time. Single families are up a little bit. iBuyers, I think I was too hard on the markets. I think 15 was kind of the peak maybe. But they did bounce back. So we got that part right. And of course, the Crash Bros will never stop because they make too much money.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one was timeline for distressed inventory doesn't show up this year.
Oh, there's no question that was right. I mean, we're seeing a little bit now numerically. It's large on a percentage basis. But really what that was pointing at, the Crash Bros don't understand, is that it takes 1,000 days for something to show up by the courthouse steps to be foreclosed on. And again, Matt, there's only 365 days in a year. So even if we had a wave of distress, they wouldn't show up till 2024, 2025. So that's just mathematically a no-brainer. So, yeah.
All righty, let's get back to it.
John Burns Real Estate Consulting. They've recently come out and said that they expect the U.S. housing market to go down 20 to 22%. I believe by May 1st, 5 months away, roughly, they are going to rejigger their calculations and say, whoops, we made a mistake. We now expect the U.S. housing market to go down only 10%. And then finally, the last call. As I said in 2022, there would be no negative year on year, and thus far I've been right, and it looks like I will be right. I now expect 2023, there will be 4 months, probably April, May, June, July, that the year-on-year housing market in the U.S. goes negative. I believe.
Whoops, I cut it off early there. Hold on one second. Let me pull it back up so you can hear that last statement. My bad.
Probably April, May, June, July, that the year-on-year housing market in the U.S. goes negative. I believe, more importantly, by December of 2023, we will be positive.
Okay, so for your last two claims, number 11, John Burns Consulting is going to change their projections from a 20% drop to a 10% drop. And finally, in 2023, you predicted 4 months of negative year-on-year appreciation for prices. And then, but by December, we'll be positive again.
Yeah, so really on the John Burns thing, I really shouldn't have quoted John Burns. John Burns doesn't make his predictions public, so that was probably a bad faux pas on my part. But really what I was saying there is there was a lot of people negative on real estate. John Burns just happened to have the largest number. They, again, don't make their forecasts public, so, don't know what they've done. I think it's very clear that housing bears are resetting. I think the best person to follow for this is Lance Lambert from Fortune. We talk to him every Thursday, and he's been putting out a lot of great tweets about housing bears, meaning -5, -8, all of those things being revised, starting in May. So I think we're going to call that one a win. Again, John Burns doesn't make his public, so I'll never know. Or if I do know now, I won't say. So yeah, housing bears, less bearish. Nailed that one. And then, yeah, I think we're going to see 4 negative years. And I think it starts this month with the Case-Shiller, which will come out for April. So I think we got that one right. It'll be interesting to see if it's 3 or 4 months. But yeah, I think I got these two right. Yeah, I think these two feel pretty good.
Okay. So let me tally it up real quick because I got them written down here. We had number 1, days on market up 150%, distressed sales to triple. That one's still to be determined. Number 2, run rate of transactions annualized at 4.3 million. That's a yes. Spring selling season is going to land like a thud. That's a yes. 30-year mortgages are going to average under 6% with a low of 5.65. That's a no. Office space will suffer most. That's a yes. LA County will lose 40% of mom and pop investors. That's a no. Rents and multifamily down 5%, single family 0. You called that a no. In my opinion, I feel like it's kind of more of a yes. Maybe you're off by 1% or 2%, but the trajectories were right. But we'll take your no on that one. iBuyer markets like Phoenix will see peak to trough fall of roughly 20% by summer, then 10% by the end of year. You called that a yes. Crash Bros are continue to be Crash Bros. Your easiest prediction. You shouldn't even get credit for it, but yes, that's a yes. Timeline for distressed inventory doesn't show up this year. That's a yes. John Burns Consulting will change from 20 to 10%. In other words, a trajectory by the experts. Again, you call that a yes. And lastly, number 12, 2023, 4 months of negative year on year. That one's still to be determined, but we're going to go with a yes. So it looks to me as if you are 7 out of 12. In your original video, you hoped for 9. And earlier today, you said 8. But I think we still have a couple that are outstanding that could come in as ringers by the end of the year. What do you think? How do you think you did, Mike?
Again, I like the fact that we own these. I don't hide from my predictions, so I feel good about that. I actually don't think I get to 9. I do think I can get to 8. But again, making 12 outlandish calls, on January 2nd, not knowing what's going to transpire over the years, that's 75%, man. You're in the Hall of Fame doing that. So I feel pretty good about that. I don't think I get to 9 though. But I'm hoping for 8.
All I could say is Jim Cramer wishes he was this accurate. Yeah, he's the master of not being. All right. Well, Mike, appreciate you having me on. It's fun to do this. I guess we'll have to do it again at the end of the year just to check back in and see how you did. But thanks for having me on the channel.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you again. I think the one that I'm clearly wrong is the mortgage rate. I think that one you can definitely take the L. I think the 25% collapse in iBuyer market was probably a little too much. And then the LA landlord one, I think that's going to be tough. I think sometimes I get a little fired up on things. So I think those 3 are certainly L's. So it'll be interesting to watch the rest. But I appreciate you doing this. Couldn't do it without you, Mike. Thank you so much.